Hello, welcome to this would be the first of Stuck at the Kids Table. We are here. A new podcast that me, Dan, and
me, Parker,
and we're trying to start up here. You know, we figure I got about a year and a half left at max here at home, and then I'm dipping. So we're gonna see if we can get this to maybe take off at least a little bit, and if it doesn't, we had fun with it, and if it does, we're gonna be multimillionaires and forget about everybody.
That's the plan.
Yep, that is the plan. So, you know, we're gonna cover everything on here. We're gonna do sports, mostly NBA, because that's what I know the most about. You know, we're gonna do TV, we're gonna do movies, we're gonna do video games, we're gonna do pretty much anything. We're gonna have a Twitter set up, so if y'all want to follow us on that, I will come back to it again at the end of the show, but it's stuck_podcast for Stuck at the Kids Table. If you're wondering why Stuck at the Kids Table, it's because we are doing this on the table that we sat at Christmas and Thanksgiving when we were little kids, because we apparently weren't old now.
We still sat at the table because I'm too scared to talk to the adults.
Yeah, Parker still sits there. He's the only one there because he's the youngest one in our family. So, anyways, we're gonna get this kicked off here with Red Dead Redemption 2. Probably the biggest thing that's come out this week, other than it being Spoopy month, and today being Spoopy Day. Probably not gonna be Spoopy Day when we get this put out because I'm gonna have to edit it a little bit, but it is Spoopy Day today, nonetheless. But Red Dead Redemption 2, it got a 10 from IGN, which probably is not as rare these days as it is from other people. But I loved all the stuff that I saw on Twitter about how there's 65 plus hours of gameplay. There's all these side quests you can do, and the first thing people did was got on horses, rode them into the colder like biomes and environments, and watched the horse testicles shrink. Which is, I mean, it's still a big like thing, but why is it the first thing that you do?
If we're being honest, this is the first of me hearing about
That's
it.
the first you've heard of it?
Yes.
It was amazing. I saw it like everywhere. It was like there's 65, or it was one of those memes where it's like it's a Drake meme where he's got his head, he's like thinking and he's like confused, and it's like the words next to the picture was go start off with a tutorial and dive headfirst into the 65 hours of gameplay, and then it's a picture of him pointing, being like, that's the right idea, and it's then the words next to that one are ride straight into the cold environment and watch the horse testicles shrink.
That's a little nasty, not gonna lie.
A little bit, but I mean, what more do you expect from people, right?
No, this is a good point. But personally, I have not bought Red Dead. I am a part of the #BrokeBoy squad. And quite frankly, the fact that I could be playing game and these people are choosing to watch horse balls is kind of saddening.
Please give me your copy. If you went straight to the horse testicles, then
you don't deserve it.
Yeah, you really don't.
Simple.
If the recording sounds a little trashy, it's because our setup is literally, like Parker said, a #BrokeBoy setup. We have one microphone that's meant for one person right in between us, like halfway facing me, halfway facing him.
Yes.
There's no like guard on it, so it might sound kind of trashy. And I have 2 blankets up on the walls in our room. And when I say up on the walls, I mean like they're probably covering half the wall that they're on. Fallout 76. The beta was out.
Right? Sure was out.
It sure was.
People didn't really get to play that much, though.
Wasn't it like they had specific times you could go on?
There were specific times that you could go on, but there were issues with installation on some platforms.
I just see on here on Games Radar, Fallout 76 beta extended after bug deleted everyone's downloads. Mm-hmm. That's
They downloaded it, and for some reason, it was downloaded, but the play button stayed grayed out, from what I saw from some sources.
What? Like, even with this, like, affecting it, what are your thoughts on Fallout 76? Like, is this a day one cop for you? day one buy, or is it let it simmer, or is it I ain't gonna buy this?
Even with, like, I've never played much of the traditional formats, but with things like the online component, if friends get it, it might be a selling point for me. But after this beta, it has, if anything, made me not want to purchase.
See, like, to me, I have multiplayer games. Like, I have Call of Duty that I bought to play with my friends. I have Fortnite that I downloaded to play with my friends. And, like, for me, Fallout is like a single-player game. That's what I buy it for, is to play single-player stuff when I don't want to partake in social matters with my friends. And I want to be alone. I play Fallout. Everyone be there. Everyone been there. I feel like everyone's got those games. But Fallout was mine. And with Fallout 76, like, it's probably not a day one cop for me, but I'm gonna see what it's like to play single player, like, on your own. And if that's fine, then I'm gonna do that. Because it's like, for me, Fallout 76 is gonna be a game where you can only play it every once in a while, and your friends, like, are gonna have to be on, because you're gonna be mad if one of your friends is, like, getting on and they're like a level 20, and then you're like level 5, because you don't get on all that much.
And then you get dunked on by every other player in the server.
The thing that I hate the most, if there's like a way I can get out of the servers, I'll be like, okay, that's fine. That's how I want to play. Because they like introduce that, they're like, and you can find a key to drop a nuke anywhere in the entire like Appalachia. And I just don't want to do that. I don't want to have to do that. Would you consider yourself a PlayStation boy, or an Xbox boy, or a Nintendo boy, or an all video games are equal boy?
Well, I suppose if it came down to a decision, I would choose Nintendo, because that's what I've always grown up on. New Smash Bros. Revealing the rest of the roster tomorrow, apparently.
Is that on Thursday?
We'll see. It is tomorrow,
Thursday, November 1st.
By the time this comes out, it will probably be revealed, and by then we will have news if the Grinch leak is true or not.
You wanna explain the Grinch leak?
So, for those of you not in the know,
those of you plebs,
this leak came leaked by a Snapchat, of all things, of an employee at a French banner making company. I have no idea. I don't know what it is. But basically, a man from France took a picture of this, had the caption translated to English, it roughly means "fuck Nintendo, LOL." And so it had the banner, the "Everyone is Here" banner, which anyone who's following the game knows what I'm referring to.
It's like all the people on a banner that are in the game.
And it revealed 7 new characters, 2 which are the Echo Fighters, the clone characters, and 5 which are entirely new. And the 2 clone characters were Ken from Street Fighter, an expected choice, and Shadow from Sonic the Hedgehog, another expected choice. And the other 5 were some more obscure characters. We had Banjo-Kazooie, who anyone who had a Nintendo 64 will know, and is now owned by Microsoft, so that was a good get, if it's true. The Chorus Kids from Rhythm Heaven, another more obscure Nintendo franchise that is very dear to me. I think it is very good, and I wish more of the general public would agree. Mach Rider from the game Mach Rider. If you are completely confused by that sentence, don't worry, so am I.
Yeah.
Isaac from Golden Sun, which was an RPG for the Game Boy Advance that I am not sure too many people played, but he has a very cult following. And Gino, who is a character from Super Mario RPG, who has been very, very heavily requested since Super Smash Bros. Brawl on the Wii, I believe. And it is called the Grinch Leak, because also in this photo was a never-before-seen render for the new Grinch movie, which is apparently a striking point in the corner of it being true.
That's the most like obscure thing to me, is that the Grinch could be in it.
Well, that's not exactly what it is. Like, the Grinch isn't on the poster.
Oh.
The Grinch is on a separate poster that the company was also printing.
Oh, okay. So it was like the Grinch poster is there.
Yes.
Which makes it like really believable.
And it is a never-before-seen render, which makes it of the Grinch. Which makes you wonder, why in the world a man who would want to fake a leak would go through the effort to make a poster for the new The Grinch movie.
Huh.
and why.
That's crazy.
Which is a big point in the corner of credibility. Which is why I'm on Team Real for it. I sure would like to be proven wrong and not have all the surprises spoiled so close to the finish line like the last game. But I unfortunately believe that this is the roster.
So if you guys did not check it out on Thursday and you're just listening to it now, you might want to go check that out. Because that could be lit. I think probably one of the last points we're going to hit for video games is they just released like the full lineup for the PlayStation Classic that's supposed to be coming out. And if you guys didn't see anything, you guys have been like living under a rock video game wise, and you haven't heard anything about the PlayStation Classic. It's this little tiny thing, that, like replica of the PlayStation, the original PlayStation, that's supposed to be coming out, just like the Super Nintendo Mini and just like the Nintendo Classic Mini. So you can't like play discs, PlayStation discs on it, but it's gonna come preloaded with games. And there's some I haven't heard of, like Siphon Filter, Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo, Wild Arms. But there's classics that like PlayStation fans will know. Like there's Rayman, there's a Resident Evil Director's Cut. There is Tekken 3. If you're into fighting games, you probably have heard of that. And there's, I think Final Fantasy VII is supposed to be, the two big hitters are probably Final Fantasy VII and Grand Theft Auto. And I'm pretty sure it looks like that's supposed to come December 3rd, and it's supposed to be $100. Is this a buy for you? Is this a cop or no cop?
Would you like me to shoot 100% straight?
Shoot 100% straight with me.
I believe that the game's lineup is sort of trash, and there are many missed opportunities.
That's honestly a good point.
Because
Crash
Bandicoot.
But I think the thing with that is they're like, okay, we just came out with the Insane trilogy. If they didn't buy that, they probably don't like Crash.
Right, but also, I believe that, I mean, this is the PlayStation Classic. You gotta have all the classics.
That's a good point.
And you are missing so many. Because in addition to Crash, Spyro, which, again, the point that you make with the remastered trilogies.
Yeah.
But at least one game on there from both franchises.
We really didn't get into the console game until PlayStation 2. That was like the first thing we got. I remember opening that up. We had the PlayStation 2 with Guitar Hero 3. So that's kind of like before our time. I feel like that's 20-year-olds. I know I have some friends in high school who were like, yeah, that was like what I grew up on was PlayStation. I played Crash and stuff. But I think, like you said, Nintendo hit it more on the head with the Super Nintendo and the Nintendo Classic. And I think PlayStation Classic's like the only thing that Sony can do. But Nintendo just has so much more in their wheelhouse that they can bring back classic-wise. Right. Like, they can still do the N64 Classic, which we're all waiting for, Nintendo. Super Mario 64 Remastered. I need that.
Which, I would like to think on the PlayStation Classic side that as people like us who never got to enjoy some of these games, that it would be something that we would consider buying for classics like Final Fantasy VII.
That's a good point.
Was Metal Gear Solid on that line?
Yes, Metal Gear Solid. Yeah, that was another.
That's
another
one that I was very interested in.
So that's their only problem. Is there's only like 4 or 5 games, and it's like people think to themselves, they're like, is it worth it to spend $20 on 5-6 good games and 15 mediocre games?
Right, because most of these games, if you own a PS4, you could just buy as a PS Classic.
That's a good point too.
And download from the store.
Yeah.
So people like us who want only 4 or 5 of these games, we could buy off of the PlayStation 4 store and get for a much cheaper price and get the privilege of using a controller with a joystick, which is for some godforsaken reason not included on the controller in the PlayStation Classic. You good over there, Chief?
You got a popcorn kernel.
Ooh.
That does not sound good.
Um,
Do you want to go ahead and talk about The Witcher?
Alright, well, for our friend here who is currently dying, let the record show that his eyes are tearing up a little bit.
I just love The Witcher so much.
You want to leave the room and get some water here, buddy?
No, you're good.
Alright, he's triggering through it. Let this show, folks. This man is dedicated.
Let the record show that I have overcome the popcorn kernel.
Alright. Well,
Real good.
anyway, The Witcher. Henry Cavill was cast as Geralt of Rivia. the
Yes,
main
he was.
character, which was a semi-controversial casting, I would say.
A little bit, just because he was Superman, wasn't
Yes.
he? And it wasn't very critically acclaimed.
Oh, got it.
I feel like it's kind of like the new Venom movie, where people are like, okay, the writing was shit. It wasn't very good, but Tom Hardy did an excellent job, and that's probably how it was for Henry Cavill, however you...
I will. I honestly do not think that his performance as Superman was good. But I do think in the Mission Impossible Rogue Nation that he was very much a good part of that.
Oh, you have a leg up on me
And
there.
so I believe that he'll do a good job in it. But the first picture of him came out today, and it is divisive, to
Yeah.
say the least.
Yeah.
Because he is missing Geralt's iconic beard
Well,
from many
okay.
of the games.
that's exactly what I said too. But if you think about it, back in the game, you could customize it.
Right.
You didn't have to have a beard. And once I thought about that, I'm like, okay, it's more of a director's choice now. Which, I mean, I personally like him more with the beard. And maybe they'll show time passing and he'll grow a beard. But if they don't, then it's just it's a cosmetic thing. As long as the show is good. There's not a very good track record for books to movies, books to TV shows, video games to movies, video games to TV shows. I'm sure there's probably been a few good ones that I can't think. Ready Player One, that was a good book to movie, in my opinion.
We can disagree on that.
Okay. But I have hope because The Witcher 3 was one of my favorite games. I loved it, as you know.
I have not finished it yet.
It's very good. I won't
But I
spoil
am getting
anything
there.
for you.
So,
It's really, really good. I'm hoping that it's going to turn out well. It being Spoopy Day in Spoopy Season, I saw that. Do you know what the Mind Flayer? First of all, have you gotten to season 3 of Stranger Things?
I am going to be crucified all over the social media for this, but I have never watched Stranger Things.
Oof.
I have
Okay.
watched episode 1, and I thought that was kind of good, and then I never watched another episode again.
Well, spoiler alert for people who are watchers of it and have not gotten to season 3. Not for you though, because shame on you, you haven't even gotten into it. I'm sure if you do watch it, you'll forget about it by then. But I saw today that in season, I believe 3, people who haven't watched, I guess, season 2, spoilers. But in season 3, the Mind Flayer, which is a giant, like, octopus kraken thing, spider from the sky that is made out of dust and, like, overtakes Will in season 2, is supposed to come back. And I guess I'm gonna have to rewatch. I thought they got rid of it, but maybe they did, or maybe it's one of those things where they want you to think that they got rid of it, and they're like, "Haha, you thought."
I wish I could contribute more to the discussion, but I got nothing.
Oh, that popcorn kernel made a rare appearance. Okay, you toss a TV show at me. Something that's supposed to be upcoming, something that's going on now.
No, I gotta be honest, I have not been keeping up much with modern TV.
You're not keeping up with the
I
Kardashians?
have not been keeping up with the Kardashians.
Well, I'll let you think about it while I throw out my hot take of This Is Us, which you know is my jam. That's my shit. I love Milo Ventimiglia, I believe. He plays Jack. He's amazing. He's a great actor. They're looking into like his Vietnam, his past at Vietnam, which I really like. But also showing, spoiler alerts for season 2 of This Is Us. They're showing just kind of how human they are, like right now. Like Toby is going through like a lot of depression, which I feel like people can probably relate to.
Right.
Which is, you know, I feel like a good thing that TV shows do nowadays. You know, they got into the situation Kate and Toby did of where it was like the option of Toby can go off his depression meds and get depressed and they can have a good chance of having a baby, or he can keep taking the depression meds and they have a tougher time. which he probably should have stayed on them, in my opinion, and like to see if they could get pregnant. And then if some time goes by, he goes, okay, we're having trouble. Let me just hop off them for a little bit, and we'll try it out. But the thing right now is, he thought that he could go off them, get back on, and they'd be fine. But it's taking longer for him than he thought. Then with Randall Pearson, he's running for council, I think, somewhere in Philadelphia, because that's where his birth dad William is from. And he just wants to make it a better neighborhood, because there was an episode where he was kind of in a more rundown part of the neighborhood, and stuff just hasn't gotten fixed by City Hall, and he wants to fix that. But it's just, he's a big time city boy, and this is kind of a more street place, and he just doesn't fit in. But he's starting to with I believe it's South Korean, or maybe it might just be Korean part of the neighborhood, which he's starting to get on track. And then Kevin is taking over, like I said, trying to find out about his dad's passing in Vietnam, because he was just in a war movie about I don't know if I don't think it was about Vietnam. I think it was just about war never changes. It's Fallout 4.
It's not the only thing I've recognized from this whole discussion so far.
You have anything you want to talk about with TV?
I do not watch enough TV.
Shout out to Carter Lane. He Snapchatted me while I was on like the actual radio. Wanted me to talk about The Office a little bit. We have a few minutes. We can still fill with like TV. You got anything you want to talk about with The Office? What's your personal take on The Office? I guess we should probably put that out in the open.
I do believe it is one of the best comedic shows.
It really is. It's, in my opinion, it's one of the best shows on Netflix. It's got to be one of the most rewatched shows.
Absolutely.
But one of the is that a nod? Absolutely, it is. What you're supposed to say to Dwight anytime he wants you to do something. Absolutely.
No, it used to be just simply a reference to that, but now it's crept its way into my vocabulary.
Absolutely,
and I can't stop. So
it's a very good show. If you guys haven't seen it,
you are living under a rock.
Yeah, you're literally probably like living under a rock. But it's what I like put on every time I go to sleep. Just because I've seen it so many times. It's just like soothing, I guess, to hear John Krasinski and Jenna Fisher going at each other in the first few seasons, and then it kind of ruined A Quiet Place for me, though. I don't want to say ruined, because it's still a very good movie, but it's hard to see him as anyone else besides Jim.
Well, I think that hearing no dialogue there helped.
But A Quiet Place, I think that's going to segue us into the last part of the show, which is just the spooks, spoopies. You know, spooky video games, spooky TV shows, spooky movies. You got anything you want to cover there?
Well, I believe it was on Netflix's taking off list, but one of my favorite movies, horror movies, I should say, is Oculus.
I think they're taking, whether that's coming off on the 1st or the 17th. But if it's the 1st, I'm very sorry.
If it is in time, you should absolutely do yourself a favor and go watch it. If you are one person who is like, I don't like to be jump scared, well, this is very much more a creepy movie than a scary movie.
That's why I loved it. It's because I'm not much into like horror movies, but like we watched that, I think, with like Kenny Blanc. Shout out to Kenny.
Yes.
Whether we would have watched that 3 or 4 years ago with him, that was a really good movie. Thank you, Kenny, for the introduction to Oculus.
It was Kenny.
It was, yes.
And any other spooky topics I've got for spooky video games, I have a confession to make, actually.
Yes.
This past Black Friday, we went Black Friday shopping. We went.
Yep.
And the game Resident Evil 7, one of the most critically acclaimed of the year, that last year, 2017, was on sale for only $15. So I bought it, and I am unfortunately too much of a bitch to admit that I have made it further past the first 15 minutes.
That's what I cannot stand. You don't want to play it because it's too spoopy for you? Too much spooks.
Yes, because there are something movies. I have watched many horror movies in my day.
Yeah.
I've watched Hereditary. You don't have to get into my hot takes about that, but I believe that holding the controller and being the one making all the decisions in the horror movie, which is basically what the game is,
That's a good
is about, I would say, approximately 10 billion times more scary than just simply watching somebody make the poor decisions.
You make a good point there, because you don't really know what's coming, and like you can't really know in like a video game.
Right. And especially in Resident Evil, there's very much dark space, so you have no idea who is going to jump at you, when they are going to jump at you. I don't even know who anybody is because I'm only 15 minutes in, but I'm still scared of them nonetheless.
That's a good point. You got anything else you want to cover?
Let's see. Nothing particularly spooky, I suppose.
Alright, well if you think of anything, you hop on while I cover my hot takes.
Alright, well, give me favorite scary movie.
Favorite scary movie? Jeez. I liked Oculus quite a bit. I hate to piggyback off yours. I did watch my classes for this morning. Once I got there at 8 a.m., which I hate 8 a.m.s, I found out were canceled, so I didn't have any class until 11:30.
Yikes.
So I searched Netflix far and wide, and then I searched Hulu far and wide, and I found the 1980s first Chucky Child's Play. That's a pretty quality movie. I'm trying to think of what I got asked about. Nightmare on Elm Street tonight on the radio show. I've only seen the first one and I can't even remember it.
Never have seen it.
I need to watch it. I don't watch enough like horror movies just because I hate them. I'm gonna come completely clean here. I watched the new It, and I had like class the next day. I think it would have been back when I was in high school, and I slept like with my bedroom light on. Like I didn't have my flashlight on my phone. I didn't like have my phone screen up and open while I was charging. I left like the light on. I think I left I slept like 4 hours. I'm really terrible with horror movies.
I will not make any comment on that. But I will throw out the fact that I watched the new movie and I slept perfectly fine the night I saw it.
False claims. But I'm still gonna go see the second chapter because I watched the original one,
Yes.
and it that's for its time it was a good movie, and I love Stephen King, except that I don't watch a ton of his movies. I've seen The Shining. I can't remember if that is Stephen King. I know
That
Stanley
is.
Kubrick directed it. Coobs.
I
I don't know.
think it was a Stephen King,
It might.
but I do remember it being a very good movie.
It's a really good movie. I watch movies like that in Oculus because it's not scary. It's not going to keep me up at night.
I feel I describe movies like that more creepy.
Yeah,
than
that's a
scary,
good.
I suppose.
Yeah, that's a good descriptor. I'm trying to think of. I can't really think of any other movies. If I do, I'll come back to them. Outlast and Outlast 2.
I knew these were going to come up.
Yes, two big. I had never heard of them. I was just on whether it would have been. I think it was PlayStation 3 I had at that time. I was just on there. I looked. It was it looked like a good game. It was cheap. I think it was on sale. Because I had PlayStation. I probably had PlayStation Plus at the time. I got it. I was like, what is there to lose? That game blew my socks off. It made me nut. It was ridiculous. Not truthfully, it didn't make me nut. Metaphorically. But it was it's really good because you're just walking around I think it's an insane asylum or something with a camera, and you're basically running away. And I hated those games for the longest time because it was I thought it was stupid. I was like, that doesn't make sense just to run around an insane asylum. You're not trying to protect yourself. You can't use your fists or anything. You gotta be really quiet, and it the game knocked my socks off. And then Whistleblower, the DLC, came out, and that was good. And then Outlast 2 came out, and it was a day one cop for me because it was $30. And I knew it was going to be good. It was definitely harder. I probably played on a harder difficulty because I knew how to play it then. And it was just like, it's a really good game series. So if you haven't tried Outlast, I suggest you start with that and then you go to Outlast 2. Because they're both really, really good games. I suppose it's out of spooky season. But, I mean, it's a good year-round game. I'm trying to think.
The only other horror game I can think of is Luigi's Mansion. Not sure if we
I've
can
never
count
played
that
it.
one.
Is that a good game?
It is very good. The sequel for the 3DS is okay at best.
Okay.
And the remake for the 3DS as well has a not as good controls because it is definitely meant for dual sticks. And the 3DS, my model, I have not upgraded to the new one because I am #BrokeBoy, as previously mentioned. But without the dual sticks, it very much loses some of it, as well as the triggers on the GameCube are pressure sensitive, and the 3DS does not have that same functionality, which makes some pressure sensitive aspects a little more difficult.
I get you on that. The last spoopy thing that I probably would want to talk about is Walking Dead, and how I know you've never watched it, have you? Did you watch the first
watched
episode?
the first season, and I thought it was very incredibly boring.
It gets off to a really slow start, and then it kind of picks up. And I don't know if it was you I was talking to. I was talking to somebody about it. I haven't watched any of this season, and I watched like 3 episodes of the last season, just because, like I said, I don't know if it was you or someone else. We talked about there's TV shows, they've got ends in sight, like if they've gone on for a while. Like Game of Thrones, what season is this? It's the last season.
This is 8th season.
8th season, and it's the last one. So there's an end in sight, and then so there's an end in sight for it, and there's going to be closure to the story, and you know that. So if you haven't watched it, you can start picking up the DVDs and going, okay, there's an end in sight. I am going to be able to watch all these, and just like, because I feel like that's kind of a thing of nowadays, is that people with Netflix and Hulu, they just want to sit down, know that a TV show is over, know how many seasons there are, how many episodes are in the seasons, how long the episodes are, so they can know that they can finish it. The Walking Dead, there's like no end in sight yet.
They have, I believe there was a quote from AMC, the network's president, where he proclaimed that he wanted 10 more years of content out of The Walking Dead.
And that's
which it's unclear if he's talking about just the base show or the spin-off show, which is Game of Thrones are planning
exactly
many spin-off shows, which works.
That's, in my opinion, a better move. Right. Because you can still get more, like, content out of it. People can watch just Game of Thrones if they want to, and if they loved Game of Thrones, they'll watch the spin-offs. Mm-hmm. That's what The Walking Dead kind of had that with, they have Fear the Walking Dead, and I watched, I think, like 2 seasons of it, and it's good. But it's just, like, it gets old. Right. Like, they've kind of done the same thing. Like,
I've been told that much of the current season has been filled with filler.
Yeah. Kia Hartwig, one of my professors at college, she'd have my head if she ever hears this. Because she, loves the actor that plays Rick Grimes. I can't remember his name for sure. But, yeah, that's kind of my hot take on The Walking Dead. Do you have anything else you want to cover for Halloweener?
I think a good way to end it off would be if we have any spooky stories.
Spooky stories?
I don't know if you have any, or if you would like me to start.
Yeah, you go ahead and start. I'll try and think of something.
So, this isn't necessarily one that's really spooky, but just relates to spooky season. And so, our music class in elementary school, we had these 2 songs that played all the time. There was one, it was HALLOWEN, spells Halloween. And our music teacher would subject us to listening to this song. And there was one, I can't remember exactly I believe it was about a Cyclops. They had some fancy name for it or something.
I kind of remember.
And they would have a sort of chorus line about something that happened to him. And then in a very deep voice, a narrator would say, and his one big eye just blinked.
And there was like the sound
And
effect.
there was the sound effect of the eye blinking. And every year, it wasn't even just on Halloween. I would say it's throughout the entire month of October.
Probably.
And we would listen to these songs in the dark. And that's probably why I hated music up until high school. Honestly. I think that
I
might
saw
have been
it.
what
She would jump up behind us. I think I fell out of my chair one year because I didn't know she was behind me during the HALLO song. And I hated it. Alright. Well, that was a spooky story.
Got any
That is-
spookies?
I do not think I do. I'm just not a spooky guy. But for all you spooky guys and gals out there, I hope you enjoyed Halloween. You enjoyed all the movies that were on Netflix, all the events, Fortnitemares on Fortnite. They had some stuff. I think it's still going to be going on for a little bit in Black Ops 4. It's time to get the Thanksgiving decorations out. Put the turkey on your front lawn. Just kidding. Nobody does that. We all know the Christmas trees are growing up. The Frosty the Snowmans, the inflatable ones are going out in the front yards. I'm sure snow will start falling in Iowa because Iowa. Here in like the next week. Speaking of next week, I'm probably gonna try and get this episode out on Friday. Friday or Saturday. I know it's a very busy weekend with the musical in our town and the Bullhoyden? I can't remember the name. It's like a 2-hour and 40-minute away school. I'll try and get this up for the football boys. Y'all can listen to it on the way to the game. Good luck. Hope you come out with the W.
Win so we get out of school early.
There you go. You guys are already getting out early, aren't you?
Absolutely, we are.
Because people can go down. Hopefully enough people go down and support. I know it's a long drive. I'm going to be covering basketball at Iowa Central. So I unfortunately won't be able to go, but I'll try and keep myself updated. I'm probably gonna try and get this regularly uploaded on Mondays because we'll probably record it Saturdays or Sundays, and then I'll have to go through and add music underneath. But next week, hopefully, we can cover the NBA a little bit because I'm hoping we'll have Roberto Jepson on here. Our production studio, I say that lightly. It's a pretty cramped room. Probably going to try and clean it up so that if we do have people on here, it'll be a little bit nicer for them. But you know, Robert is pretty knowledgeable about the NBA, so we'll probably cover some of that, the absurdity of the NBA so far this year. Talk about movies, TV, video games that are going to be news that's going to be coming out next week. And I really hope you guys enjoyed and that, like we said, hopefully if we do, we can make it at least somewhere a little bit, get a little bit of recognition. If we don't, at least this is fun. You guys can follow us at stuck_podcast on Twitter. I'm going to try and get a Facebook page made. We'll probably try and put these on YouTube. You got anything you want to add?
Have a good day.
Yes.
Or night.
Beautiful day, night, afternoon, morning.
Whenever you listen.
And we hope you enjoy.